Hey, Mark, I appreciate you joining me here today. For those that don't know me and you, I'm Jess Coburn, CEO of Applied Innovations. We're a managed IT, cloud, and cybersecurity company. We help businesses leverage technology to drive success. One of the things we do as an IT service provider is we look at risk and we help businesses identify risk and then address it before it becomes a problem. Usually that involves computers, but today with everything that's going on, there's a huge shift in business. And I thought you'd be a great person to talk to and talk about those shifts and the changes we're seeing in business, not just today, but in general. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about yourself and Brave New Markets?
Thanks, Jess. It's good to see you today. Absolutely, Brave New Markets. We're about 20 years young as an organization. We help mid-sized B2B companies with digital growth. We're a digital growth company, and help them establish digital as a way to do business with their customers.
I see. So, Mark, my understanding, and we've worked together for several years, for nearly 2 decades, I think. And my understanding of your business is that your business has really pivoted from what used to be a marketing and messaging and kind of consulting company into a digital growth company, and really a digital transformation company, right?
Absolutely. We started out as a marketing organization, quickly connected with your organization because we were also, the internet 20 years ago was spinning up and getting ready to do great things, and we quickly realized that digital online, even back in those days, was giving the best bang for the buck for our clients. We were getting the best return on investment with digital investments even then. And so that's continued over the 20 years, and we became more and more involved in the digital side of the business. We still do some marketing, but it's evolved into highly leveraged on digital marketing and just those things that drive growth. We call it growth marketing, and it's only focused on those things that absolutely drive growth. And we've also evolved in adding expertise in digital customer experience and also digital platforming for our clients.
So it's interesting, right? A lot of businesses throw around the buzzword digital transformation. I'm guilty of it too. But you're really a good example of a business that does that today and that helps businesses do that today, right? Can you give me an example of a customer of yours that has done this?
Oh, absolutely. One of them we know fondly, a company named Acton Mobile, which is a organization that rents construction trailers and construction facilities around the country, and we took them from basically a traditional type, paper-based relationship with their clients, fax in, fax out, a lot of phone work, a lot of high-touch type interaction and marketing, and put them on a course for digital customer acquisition, digital customer experience, and working with their customers with, if you will, minimal human interaction, if that's what their customer wanted. And the results were extraordinary. They were recently acquired by Will Scott's organization in a great transaction that worked out, and will continue to grow what that organization started.
So let's look at that, right? Because a lot of these businesses, like Acton, they don't think that they can succeed online. They think that they're a press the flesh and person-to-person type business. And today, that's most definitely not going to happen, right? These companies that traditionally would get their leads from going to a conference or going out and shaking hands, they can't do that. How do they make that pivot?
Well, the most important thing to start that pivot is for senior leadership at an organization to get the mindset that they can do it and begin to think about not doing the same things they've always done the same way, which you hear over and over again. But this applies to every business. We deal mostly in the B2B area, and we hear it all the time from traditional business as well. Our people like to see our faces, like you say, press the flesh, and this sort of thing. And while that may be true, I'll tell any business there's a huge pent-up demand to do business with them digitally also. So we're not exactly talking about eliminating the way you do business today, but at least at first we're going to supplement it with and augment it with a digital channel and digital methods. It absolutely is possible, and it starts at senior leadership. If they're not convinced, it will not work in the entire organization.
That's interesting. And what's the biggest challenge behind getting buy-in from leadership for these businesses to make that pivot?
It's the trust and foresight to be able to see the necessity. Let's face it, no matter what business you're in, it will go digital, and it will be disruptive to your industry, and you might as well be the one doing the disrupting. And that's a great place to be in the marketplace. Now, it might be a little bit disruptive within your organization, but if you're taking the leadership position, you can kind of call the shots for a while in your industry. And if you're playing catch up, well, you've got something to look at and something to model after also, and quickly get up to speed on, because more and more with what in the B2B area, some 46% of researchers and buyers are now millennials. And every other demographic, including my age, is moving to digital, and so it's an imperative to get started on.
Cool. And well, I don't know if you heard the dog barking in the background.
No, I missed it.
So I'm working from home like the rest of the world, right? We made that transition about a year and a half ago, from being a traditional company that had an office and everybody went into an office to, we kind of gradually went. There was a day a week where we allowed people to come in if they wanted to. Interestingly enough, most days I was the only guy that came in on those Fridays. And when our lease was up about a year and a half ago, we had the option that we were looking for new office space. And one of my employees reached out to me about transitioning and becoming a work from home company. And at first I shot it down, because it's just not the way I was raised professionally.
Sure.
But I gave in. I still got an office for myself. After about 6 months, I quit going to that office I found, and I was working more and more from home because I was just more productive. And we still have the office, but I don't think I've been there in about 3 months. So I'm curious about how Brave New Markets does that, because a lot of the businesses today, they're going to be faced with that, right? They're not going to have the option to step in it like I did. They're probably there today, if not today, tomorrow. What has Brave New Markets done in that kind of range? You have a distributed workforce, right?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we've been moving towards that for at least the past 5 years or so. And ours was driven a little differently in that way, in the way we're blessed to have some very long-term dedicated team members with us. And a couple of them, for one reason or the other, were moving. We're leaving the area. And instead of losing them, we said, well, let's let you continue to work remotely. And I probably had some of the same reservations that you did. It's a little bit unknown, but these are really good people. And you know what? We never skipped a beat. We've continued to get everything done. I think our productivity has increased because of it. If anything, around our metropolitan area, you take the commute out of their day, and the unknowing about a commute. So that's a big thing. I would say that now there are far more even better tools available to be able to do it than there even was 5 years ago. In fact, if you're staring down the barrel, right, at having to do this today, programs like or systems like Office 365, it's pretty daggone easy. And then of course, with your help, we were able to move our internal infrastructure out into the cloud with Azure and your services. And so we have no servers, no phone system, no anything here in our smaller office than it used to be. because all that's either IP, Office 365, servers in the cloud, and that sort of thing. So all those things are even better today than they were 5 years ago. And I would, look, I'll give you a shameless plug here too. I think that anyone looking at Office 365 today, while there's a little bit of a learning curve to it, it's really easy. But I wouldn't hesitate to turn to Applied Innovations to flatten that learning curve and get those things working right away.
You're making me blush, Mark. I appreciate the compliment. And I certainly didn't pay you for that, but I would gladly pay you for that. It's been a pleasure to work with you all these years. Our friendship we've developed means a lot to me. And I've always found that the feedback I've gotten from you has been spot on and really helpful. So thank you for that. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this. I'm getting all choked up and emotional now. But with Office 365, a lot of these businesses go, oh, well, we have Office 365, we're good. But the reality is they're only using email. What are some of the features in Office 365 outside of email that you're using that have helped you stay connected as a company?
I have to say the number one thing is Teams. So Teams allow us to do face-to-face communications, and I cannot emphasize enough the gain you get by actually being able to see someone face-to-face. Now this works with both internally with our employees, but also with our clients. So we're not losing touch with clients, and we can see anyone in their office anytime that we work with. And the amount of communication, as you might expect, is just overwhelmingly increased by being able to see one. We're also running our phone service through Teams. And so we no longer have landlines or anything like that. Along with the Teams app, you can answer a phone call no matter where you are on your company phone line. And those are all great things. Beyond that, I would say the SharePoint integration with Excel, Word, and those types of things, being able to share live edits in documents with other folks, incredible productivity increases, and we have all of our personal computers, the laptops and all, completely synced with Office 365. So there's never any real worry with losing work due to a hard drive crash or lost laptop or anything like that.
So a lot of people don't know about that, right? That you can use OneDrive and you can actually copy your My Documents, your desktop, and your pictures folders to OneDrive and have that synced all the time.
Right.
And what's really cool, right, is that if you get a new laptop, you literally just log into OneDrive and all your documents are there.
That's exactly what we do. We can commission a laptop in minutes. What used to take hours now is just minutes.
So there's features. So you have Office 365. There's an upgraded version called Microsoft 365 that includes Intune that gives you a lot of the functionality that people would leverage on Active Directory and group policies for that are in there. And then there's also, and kind of going in a commercial, I guess, there's also a feature called Autopilot. And Autopilot actually connects your laptop to your Office 365 or your Azure Active Directory. And you just log in with your Office 365 credentials. It installs all your applications and settings and configurations, everything, just the way your company wants it. So we touched on collaboration and staying in contact with your customers and your employees. That's really interesting that you're using it with your customers. Not a lot of companies are doing that too, I find. I find a lot of companies still lock it down. Do you find more and more of your customers are using Office 365?
Yes, and we encourage those that aren't too, but we're running into more and more, and then we're also pushing them to use more and more of the capabilities, such as Teams. If anything, we always try to work face-to-face with clients, and we're able to cut down on travel expenses and travel time and work more effectively with the client. Just on Friday, I had one of our business client associates. I got the Teams invite to join her on a call. And within seconds, we were face-to-face, but across the country.
It's great, right? Because you can use the whiteboard feature, you can share documents, everything right there with your customer. I don't think there's necessarily a reason to go visit a customer in your business.
Right. And you know what? We're doing that right now. We're living that right now.
Yeah. And I mean, just thinking about it from as a business owner and CEO at the bottom line, and the cost savings is instant profitability. Any cost you can cut or directly profit. So I think that's fantastic.
Not only that, but responsiveness. We've always prided ourselves in being an incredibly responsive organization to clients' needs, and having harnessed this technology and mastered it, I think we're ahead of the game in responsiveness to being able to quickly do something as an organization to support our clients.
Yeah. So, Marc, I'm curious, within your own company, have you had any big pushback in relation to coronavirus and what's going on there from your team?
Well, I can tell you for the past 4 days, we've been incredibly involved in client crisis communications, including over this past weekend. But for the reasons we just talked about, we didn't skip a beat. We were able to turn around. We didn't, a few days ago, we didn't see these requests coming, but it seems every day is a little different right now. But we were able, even over the weekend, as a team, to pull together and again be responsive and get our clients taken care of, because of the distributed technology and applications that we have.
Very cool, very cool. The one thing that a lot of businesses forget about at these times is their cybersecurity, and especially with Office 365, because a lot of hackers know that businesses are leveraging that and they're trying to exploit that. You guys are using multi-factor authentication on your Office 365, right?
Right.
All right, good. So, and if you don't know what that is, that's where you get a text message or you get an alert on your phone that you accept, and then you log in. So if someone gets your password, they can't actually get into your email with just the password. They need that too, and so that blocks them. The other thing we're seeing a lot of customers, as they move off premise and onto home computers, not realizing the backdoors they're opening that hackers are looking to exploit. We've already seen 2 exploits where we've seen a hospital in Ukraine get attacked while they were treating patients with COVID-19. Wow. The Department of Health and Human Services here in the United States had an attack against them that was targeted to try to slow them down, but failed. And we're going to see an increase in that. So businesses really need to remember that. Hackers like it when you're looking over here to be over here doing something else. So we need to be aware of that. Marc, with that said, is there anything else you'd like to add, or is there anything we missed?
Well, just that, back to digital transformation that we opened with, a lot of companies might see that as an incredible, great big monster to tackle, and it doesn't have to be that way. First of all, yes, leadership get the vision for what needs to be done. And when we talk about transformation here, we're not only talking about with your customers, but internally also. We've had both of these conversations today. But to get the vision and understand where you're heading, but you don't have to know specifically what's going to look like in a year or two as you move down this road. Do not take it as some great, big, huge project that all has to be accomplished in, let's say, 18 months or something. If you do that, you might get it done in 18 months, but you're already going to be behind because you've been trying to bite off more than you can really chew, and you're shooting at a target that's always moving. So we always say take small chunks, find the most effective things you can change, and change them, and add those to your feature set, add it to your website, add it to the way you're going to do business. Small, agile steps, baby steps, if you will. And then, because you'll get feedback along the way, and you'll have to do some course corrections and all. But that 18 months from now or 2 years from now, you'll look back and you probably won't have it envisioned exactly where you are, but you were able to accomplish it and be much more on target for where you need to be because you took small steps along the way, and that can be successful.
Which is really important right now, because right now businesses are looking at the market and they're scared and they're all worried that there's going to be a recession and what's going to happen. And they're likely to say, well, that all sounds good and great and everything, but I'm not going there today. It's not really the case, right? Even though all this is going on, they should start planning that today and really start executing.
Right. At least start going there today.
Yeah. And the approach that you're recommending, where they make small tweaks along the way, it's a smart way to go.
It's small. It doesn't overtax the organization. It doesn't scare the organization. It just becomes a natural evolution about the way you do business.
I think that's great feedback. I think that's probably the best feedback we have today, is that as a business owner, you're going to be scared, but you need to realize that business continues to move forward and you have to plan for the future. Regardless of what's coming, you have to plan and always be looking to grow and scale. And this is a great way to grow and scale that's not going to tax your employees, and is going to allow you to do it at a rate that makes sense for your business.
Right. You know, the hardest pushback in the past 5 years I've put up with is occasionally some employees don't want to get on video. I don't know what it is, but as soon as they do, they get it. As soon as they, you know, it's like on the second time they use it, they get it. So it's well worthwhile. And yes, I cannot overemphasize the small steps along the way. Don't take it as a big project, and you'll be good to go.
Good. Marc, I really appreciate the time. I appreciate you taking the time to share this with me and share your experiences. And hopefully other business owners and CEOs find this as valuable as I found it valuable. And thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jess. Good to see you.
Have a good one.